Thank you. May we be seated, please? Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Borno State, Umar Kadafo Usman, thanks so much for making the time to join us today, sir. And thanks for the hospitality you accorded us while we were in your city the last time. The MD CEO of REA, Dr. Abba Aliyu. Members of the State Executive Council present, the Honorable Commissioner, Borno State Ministry of Transport and Energy, Honorable Aliyu Mohammed Lawan Uba. Thanks so much for working with us to put this together. Very good data for you today, Director. Hopefully you'll be able to share some insights on the energy access data at REA. We equally have the Director of Energy, Borno State, in the room, as well as the Director of Engineering, Maintenance. We have the GM, Rural Electrification Board for the state. We have the STA to the Governor, as well as the SSA on Transport and Energy. We equally have the head of ICT and the PA to the Honorable Commissioner. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. I know for a very good reason we don't have His Excellency here in person, but this is a good representation, and we'll be able to report back to His Excellency the Governor. At the REA, we have the Executive Director, Technical Services, Engineer Umar in the room today, as well as the Executive Director, Corporate Services, Ayoade Boyega. We will await other members of the REA Executive as we proceed. Your Excellency, sir, just to save some time and move along with this quickly, considering you have a very busy day, we welcome you once again to the REA State-by-State Roundtable. As you are aware, we've been doing this for the entire year, actually. We now have met over 20 states, and the objective is simple: to catalyze strategic opportunities in the state's electricity market, through renewable energy and clean energy, as well as local manufacturing, considering that all the 36 states of the Federation has its own uniqueness in terms of resource deposits and resource governance in these states. Today's theme is very deliberate: empowering resilience and sustainability for socioeconomic growth in the state, and of course, catalyzing clean energy investments in the state's electricity market. Resilience is very key. We know the amazing work that His Excellency and yourself have done in the state over the years to stabilize the state, but much more to recover the state and have it ready for strategic investments. So we are here today with a long list of private sector players from the clean energy ecosystem, who we now call renewable energy service companies. And they are here for a simple reason, Your Excellency: to get your commitment remarks today, and also to open Borno State up for business in the renewable energy sector. At some point, a few of them will be coming up here, sir, just to showcase, their line of both existing and ongoing projects in the state. And also we will have a lot of new converts who are now ready to take on, the opportunity and kickstart an active partnership with the state government. Your Excellency, sir, if you permit us at this stage, I would like to invite Shetima Booker, the General Manager, REB, for his welcome address.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, Professor Engineer Babagana Umar Zulum, FNACMNI, ably represented by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Borno State, Usman Umar Kadafur, the Managing Director, Rural Electrification Agency. May I stand, please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the state-by-state roundtable engagement with Borno State government. Over the years, our administration has invested heavily in renewable energy across the state, spanning educational, health, agriculture, water resources, and lately electric vehicle charging terminals. This roundtable discussion will harness the full potentials of renewable energy solution between Borno State government and the Rural Electrification Agency, I believe. Let me use this medium to thank our prospective investors and partners for choosing Borno as the next destination. So at this juncture, I welcome you all to this important gathering, and I hope the deliberation will have.
My brother, the Deputy Governor representing the other brother of mine, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State. Let's have one house. Your Excellency, today's roundtable is the 20th of all the roundtables that we have. And from the bottom of my heart, Your Excellency, today's one is one of the most important roundtable for me. Reason being that, one, Your Excellency, I honored the invitation of His Excellency to go to Maiduguri. And I have seen the good work that the government of Maiduguri is doing. And I'm the kind of person, Your Excellency, that I would always like. I don't like rhetoric. I like to see things, tangible things that have been done. I've seen some of the 100, I think 24 or 104 world-class schools that were built by His Excellency. I've seen a number of them. I have entered a number of them. Not only that, I'm aware that there are 35 that are under construction, and there are 15 of them that are in the process of tendering. Your Excellency, I have also seen the hospital that is being built by the state government. In my mind, that hospital can only be built by the federal government, not a state. A gigantic hospital that has been built. I've been there, I've entered that hospital. And I've been also to the industrial cluster. I've seen the work that has been done in that industrial cluster. And this is one of the things that Rural Electrification Agency wants to see, where small, medium enterprises are put in a particular place that will enable us to power the entire cluster and create job opportunities and enhance the socio-economic development of the state. Another thing also unique that I have noted, which the general manager mentioned, is the charging point. Borno State is one state that I think it's one step ahead of REA. We are just in the process of testing and building the charging points. But when I saw the charging point that was built in Borno State, I was wowed. I was amazed with that level of thinking. I've also seen the way the Borno State now it's utilizing the electric buses, which is also another step ahead of us. I must also recognize the quality of the people around His Excellency. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, you guys have really chosen people with the technical competencies and experience to do that. When I saw the Commissioner of Health, a professor, not even practicing within Nigeria, but you guys poached him from out of the country. Even the Commissioner of Energy was working with Sahara. He was saying that what exactly did His Excellency did to woo you from Sahara to the state government. But you know, Maiduguri, when they want to do anything, it can happen, whether we like it or not. Your Excellency, we also want to inform you that we have many people from your state that are working with us, and they are really the backbone of our institution. Our legal director and the assistant legal director, you should get up so that His Excellency will see you there. They are all indigenous of the state, and they are really doing very good job for us. So Your Excellency, before I start my presentation, I just want to do a caveat. This is the first time I'm doing this caveat, Your Excellency. After me, others will come and speak. And when they will speak, they will try very much to tell you whether they have a relationship or they have a friends in Maiduguri or they are even indigenous of Maiduguri. Your Excellency, don't listen to them. I'm the only person that is from Maiduguri, and that ended like that. Your Excellency, before also my presentation, I would like to make it clear and passionately also appeal to the rescuers that are here. We have rescuers, renewable energy service companies that are daring the challenges being faced in the electricity sectors. They go to any community, they build infrastructure, they catalyze debt and financing to build infrastructure. So I want to use this opportunity, Your Excellency, to appeal to them to give a special consideration to Borno State. Reason being that, Your Excellency, the work that we are doing is developmental. And development, wherever there are challenges of crisis, of security, that is where opportunities are. That is the kind of places that development should go. Because in the words of the governor of Kaduna State, he said electricity, by providing electricity, you are addressing the issue of security, you are addressing the issue of poverty, you are addressing the issue of health, education, and many things. And that is why I believe that we should give a special consideration to this state, support the work that the state is doing. So, Your Excellency, the part of the work that we do program is to give the rescuers the opportunity to give commitment. And this one is going to be a very special, different commitment. We want anybody that is come here to give the commitment of where he intends to go, when he intends to go, and the expected time that we will finish the infrastructure. Because we cannot toy with the emotions of the people of Borno State. They have gone through a lot, and we are here to just support them and make sure that we help them to go through the challenges that they are facing. Your Excellency, once again, thank you for coming. The hospitality of Maiduguri, it's out of the world. In my tradition, whenever you want to marry a new wife, so you have to do what we call kaya lefe. You do a big box with kaya and send it. I'm not giving you But for you to start thinking of going to Maiduguri, exactly, I'm not giving you any ideas. Your Excellency, when I went to Maiduguri, when I came back, the commissioner brought Maiduguri clothes, very nice in a box, and I was given that. Your Excellency, I've kept them. I'm not going to wear them till Salah period. That's when I'll wear them. Can we have the presentation? So, Your Excellency, this is something that you already know. Next slide. So, Your Excellency, one of the main reasons why we are doing the state-by-state roundtable is the fact that Mr. President has signed the new Electricity Act, and that act has changed the entire dynamics of the power sector. It has now given state opportunities to take over the electricity market. They have now the liberty to do the entire process within that. And the low-hanging fruits for each state is leveraging on the off-grid market to quickly see how to deploy the renewable or the distributed renewable energy and address the challenges that are in the state. So, Your Excellency, part of what we are presenting, it's the kind of work that we have done within the state. Like I said, Maiduguri is very special to us. These are work under the 2024 that the ED Technical Services has done in Maiduguri State. And like I said, we would always want to give, project the pictures so that it's not just rhetoric, but actual things that we are doing. So this is 2024, part of the areas, and you can see the latitude and longitude of the area that we deployed this to help strengthen the supply in the state. Next slide. This is when the RESCO Next Gen and the training that we have done, which under the National Electrification Program. But it's also, even beyond this, the next slide, we have even went further to train 100 more people, and Maiduguri is the first state that we have done that training. Next slide. So, Your Excellency, like I said, the Act has now dimensioned the sector and has given the states that opportunity to be able to do a lot of things within the power sector, be it to generation, even some aspect of transmission and distribution. So you have now taken over the entire thing. A state can create its own electricity market. And we know from the fact that a state on its own cannot address the issue of the challenge of electricity. There has to be an enabling environment for the private sector to bring in. And Your Excellency, one of the things that I even want to share with you, this is something that I learned yesterday, was while we are in Nigeria trying to address the issue of electricity access, the AI, it's now bringing another challenge for us. The AI demand, the main challenge of AI to continue to expand across the country is not the fight between the US and China on the chips. What's the main challenge of AI now is electricity. AI requires tons of electricity to be able to operate as much as we want it. And I give you an example, Your Excellency. If you pick a ChatGPT and you ask who is the governor of Borno State, within 10-15 seconds, ChatGPT will give you the entire history of His Excellency, the governor of the state. But what we don't know is that behind that is a packet of electricity that has been used to generate that answer. And that 10 seconds of an answer, you would use close to 50 kilowatt of electricity to generate that answer. So the promoters of AI are now saying that the main challenge now is electricity to be able to maintain this level of AI that is required. And now in United States, the focus is that each year they want to increase electricity by 100,000 gigawatts. Each year, till the next 20 years. This is what they project to continue to use to meet the demand of the AI. And they gave you another example, Your Excellency, is for a tier 1 data center, one tier 1 data center, what it required when it comes to electricity is what Philippines will consume in a year. That is what it's required to operate optimally in a month. So as we are trying to address the electricity access, there is now even more need for more electricity, not just to power the homes and SMEs, but to tap to the opportunities now that AI has provided. And that is why, Your Excellency, we need to quickly get to address this challenge and start to build more for whoever are working within the AI can now domesticate the data centers in our state, and we take part of the growth and the opportunities in the AI industry. Next slide. So, Your Excellency, this is the first thing we did was to do a state readiness. As the federal government is handing over the state market, each state was now analyzed based on 5 different criteria: policy, capacity, readiness, funding, infrastructure, and data readiness. And I'm happy to say that Maiduguri is one of the states that has scored not anything less than 2. So the rating of Maiduguri is 2/5. And Your Excellency, to be very honest, this is a huge rating that has been gotten. We have seen a number of states that have gotten even less than 1 due to the lack of that. So for a state with all the challenges being experienced to score this, this is a huge impact. And the areas that the state needs to focus on, we would highlight them in future. Next slide. Next slide. So, next slide. So the summary of the data assessment that we have done, Your Excellency, is as we are handing over, the federal government is handing over the electricity market, we said that let's also now do a complete mapping of the state, so that as we are handing over, each state will be conscious of the number of communities that are within the state and what are the nuances of each of these communities within the state. And we present to you this outcome. Next slide. Next slide. This, I presented this, Your Excellency. This is the outcome of the first level of the assessment. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. So, Your Excellency, this is just the summary of the outcome. What we found out is there are over 1,000 off-grid communities within Maiduguri that can be best powered by distributed renewable energy access. And we also have seen an estimate of over 100,000 connections that can be achieved. And we also have seen a number of public institutions, 283 educational institutions, and 123 health educations that can best be provided by renewable energy. And the people that are here, the rescuers that are here, are best equipped to provide that kind of service. So what we are saying, Your Excellency, is you can address all this challenge without spending the state money. All what it's needed is, Your Excellency, to tell the rescuers that are here what are the enabling environment, how are you going to safeguard, enhance security, the logistics, the movement of goods, what are the incentives that you can provide this private sector for them to now come to a rural electrification agency. We have different funding stream to tap from this funding stream and go and deploy this infrastructure, and that is what we intend to do. Next slide. So based on the assessment, Your Excellency, we will now narrowed it down to local government by local government within the state based on the electrification and lack of it within the state. And we found out that Maguri, right, and Hawul, and Bayo, and Kwaya, Kusar, and Sinani, or something like Shani, these are the local government with the highest number of areas that are not electrified. And this is what the rescuers wants to see. If these areas are viable, if these areas they can deploy this infrastructure, they can go there and take our grant and go and deploy. Your Excellency, the guy behind you is one of the people that amazes me. He's from the southeastern part of the country, but he has been moving in southeast much more than my ED. When we went to Jos to commission a project in Kwampam, after the commissioning, he said that, oh, he's using his car to now go to Gombe, Balanga, because there's a project that he's doing in Balanga. And from there, he intends to still drive from Gombe to go to Maiduguri. There is going to be a round table, and he wants to start to see what he can find out in Maiduguri. You know, the saying that, Your Excellency, that any community that you go and you did not see an Igbo man, leave that community. It's a demonstration of that. So Theo, Your Excellency, is one of the very serious people that we have seen that are looking for opportunities, like looking for this kind of communities, and regardless of it, once the state gives them the green light, they will go. And they have demonstrated the capacity to take our grant and deploy infrastructure for it. There is a lady there, over there, that I keep on pointing in yellow. Can you stand up, Sosai? Your Excellency, you see her, that she looks like a typical Malama, but she's a rugged developer. She has developed so many projects in Yobe State. She has gone to do a project in Mongunu at the height of the insurgency. So she's somebody also that is very conversant with those areas in that regard. I'm pointing them, Your Excellency, because I want this thing to be really practical and to be focused and to know who are we focusing on and who should go to Maiduguri to deploy infrastructure. There's a company there that was introduced by the head of the project management unit, Star Times. They have ransacked most part of the northeast. Do you have project in Borno? Star Time? Bama. I know they will. They are also very fearless and very daring, and they have a lot of commitment. So, Your Excellency, there are also some people that needs to be done. Then there are people that are indigenous of Maiduguri who are also developers that we have been even questioning them. How many sites have you gotten, and why haven't you started deploying infrastructure? And there's the guy over there, Abubakar, with extreme energy. Yes, you get up so that His Excellency will know him. Your Excellency, if there is no any mini grid in that state, you should blame him. Then immediately behind you, there are also another sons and daughters of Maiduguri that have gotten sites in Kano. Maybe they want to please the EDTS, not me. They have got inside in Kano, but they haven't got inside in Maiduguri. Your Excellency, they should tell you why they haven't. Yes, you know that Orion Energy Atlantic, they are also part of that. So these are the kind of people, Your Excellency, that we want them to come here and make this commitment. And the guy with the money is there, you know, feeling on top of the world. 750 million in his pocket. He will feel that he's very much okay. And the guy with the 170 billion, he will tell us what exactly he's doing in Maiduguri. The one representing the EDTS, that Rev, that we are very close to crystallizing, $260 million also would tell us what needs to, how they would support channel some of this funding to the state. Next slide. So this is just to narrow down to the communities, Your Excellency, so that it's not just showing it by the local government, but narrowing down to each of the community. And this is part of the community that can easily be utilized. We can deploy this infrastructure, power this without necessarily extending the grid. Next slide. This is another one, Your Excellency. I know you will be very much interested in this one in view. Both the one and this, you will be interested, right? the team, my team, they want to put me in trouble so that if the infrastructure is not deployed here, you will say that I highlighted it and there's no infrastructure. But this is another very lucrative community, Your Excellency. If the rest code will know that there is a route and there is good logistics security, I tell you, they will take this, and this guy will be very much happy to provide them with the funding to go and deploy the infrastructure. Next slide. This is another one in Damboa. Next slide. So far, this is what we have done. We have done 29 grid extension, deployed 2,499 standalone system, 61. This is all done by the ED Technical Services. But what I'm very much interested about is the 40 megawatts of capacity that is being injected. At some points, the entire state was on less than 10 megawatts. The NMPC 50 megawatts, it's keying in with our 12 megawatt, which we are now working with the state to take the excess capacity to power the secretariat. If we have this distributed and keep injecting it into the grid, Your Excellency, we can ramp up this capacity to 100 to 200 within a very short period of time. Next slide. And this is the funding portfolio that we have. We have this funding, and one thing that we do is, under the leadership of Mr. President, is continue to ask for more money to catalyze this private sector. And we are moving away from the normal contract base. No, we use our funding to make the private sector to get debt and equity, to combine the two and be able to deploy. For example, the $750 million that FEMI has, it's expected to catalyze 1.1 billion of private sector. So rather than just doing contract of 750, we are now utilizing 1.850 billion to deploy infrastructure. So this to us is what makes it much easier to quickly address the entire thing. So we have a funding at a level of 1.1 billion, and we have a pipeline of 2.1 billion that is there, and we'll continue to utilize this funding till we address all the electricity access challenge in the country. Next slide. So these are part of the areas, the project that we are expecting, as most of them from the DES project, which means that already some of the private sector are picking sites. We have seen some sites here, Mayobani 2, Mayobani 3 and 4, Bulama, Goniri, Injeri, some of them, and you can see the number of connection. Already we are talking about 23,000 connection, and additional almost 6 megawatts that will also be injected. Next slide. So this is just for us to say that we not only looking at addressing the excess, Your Excellency, we want the state also to keep an eye in wooing private sector to now establish manufacturing plant. I'm aware that the state, since the time of His Excellency, the Vice President, when he was the governor, had established a PV assembly plant. Your Excellency, this is one area also now that REA is driving very well. And within our midst, we have one of the investors that is establishing a 1,200 megawatt PB manufacturing plant, but 600 in Akwa Ibom and 600 in his state, Kano. We don't know why he's not going to my state, Borno State. Your Excellency, he's there. He should explain himself as well. And the good part of it, Your Excellency, was the last 2 weeks, he sent me the pictures of all the plant, the manufacturing plants that had been coupled in China, and they are now on their way to Nigeria. Your Excellency, you should persuade him to maybe find a way to put some of them in there, and he can take over the one that the state already has, expand it, and start the massive manufacturing, because the localization is one area that Mr. President is driving, and it will generate a lot of revenue and job opportunities within the state, Your Excellency. So thank you very much, Your Excellency. Today's presentation is a bit different. It's just because, Your Excellency, this is my state. No more rhetoric. All what we want is commitment. Let the people with the money come and tell us what they have, and we will now give the opportunity to the private sector to take up the state. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abali, the MD of REA. Your Excellency, sir, it's obvious that it takes the right people to power resilience, whether within the corporate ecosystem or at the state level. So it's a good thing to know that the rescuers in the room today will continue to be encouraged to take on the task of powering Borno State. Quickly to go into the presentations for today, I'll be inviting, sadly we don't have the Executive Director, Rural Electrification Fund in the room, but she is very well represented today. We'll be having her presentation. I would like to invite Sunday Baby for the ref presentation before we move along. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, ably represented by the Deputy Executive Governor of Borno State, Umar Kadafur Usman, my ever-performing MD, CEO, Abba Aliu. Please permit me to stand on already existing protocols. And I say good morning to you all. My name is Obiebi Sunday, and I'm standing on behalf of the Executive Director, Rural Edification Funds, to tell us today what Rural Edification Funds is all about. The Rural Edification Funds promotes, please next slide, promotes cost-effective renewable energy access in rural and peri-urban areas of the country, through grant subsidies and technical assistance to improve social, economic, and environmental conditions. And in the REF Directorate, we have been mandated through the Electricity Act to operate in compliance with the Electricity Act of 2023 to support subnationals in developing their electricity markets through the state matching program, but also to align with the NEC by regulatory compliance and licensing. We also have tariffs, standards, and consumer protection. We are also de-risking investments in rural communities by attracting private sector investment and establish state readiness. Please, next slide. Now in REF, this is what we have done so far. We've been able to attract private investment of 5.8 billion by providing 124 mini-grids across the country, 25,580 solar home systems, and we were able to provide 18,013 medium, small, and micro enterprises with a total capacity of 16.8 megawatts across 36 states, including the FCT. We've also energized 12 markets and created 26,000 jobs. Now, if you go on my far left, you would see that we have been able to deploy mini-grids and solar home systems into 183 communities across the country. In the Northwest, we've been able to deploy 23, while in the Northeast, we've been able to deploy 27, the North Central 42, the Southwest is 33, and the south-south is also 33, while the southeast is 25, with a total connection of 204,248 connections, and also having 91,720 total carbon reduction. Please, next slide. So here are some of the projects we've completed and commissioned. We have one at Rafin Zufi, Gwagwalada in FCT, a 40 kilowatt mini grid. We also have in Uhafo Numi community in Kanum East local government of Enugu State, 100 kilowatts mini grid. Please, next slide. We also have in Bende community, in Bende local government area of Abia State, 100 kilowatts of mini grid. We have in Barkin Chiawa community in Kwampam local government of Plateau State with a total of 395 kilowatts mini grid. Next slide, please. This is a Lambata community in Niger State with a total of 990 kilowatts plus mini grid. They are still upscaling. My MD was there, including the minister, to commission that project. It's actually a big project, and they are still upscaling. I'm sure by the time anybody goes to visit, they would have scaled up to 1,000 plus. Next slide, please. So projects in Borno. Please, next slide. Your Excellency, these are some of the projects we've completed and commissioned in Borno. We have a 100 kilowatts mini grid in Viukuta community, that's Biu local government, Borno State. We have also done some SHS deployments in Damboa community in Borno State. Next slide. These are ongoing projects in our REF Core 3. We are deploying 50 kilowatts mini grid in Ungurusoye community in Bama local government. We also have SHS, that's solar home system deployment in Zambanmari community in Jere local government, Borno State. Please, next slide. So this is the Viukuta community in Biu local government. We have close to 670 plus connections of households, primary healthcare centers, and PUEs. This is for the Biu local government in Borno State. Next slide, please. Now, coming to this project, the management of REA in its wisdom and its quest to close the energy gap in the country came up with a transformative state matching program aimed at energizing critical sectors, and they came up with the EHAD program, which is an acronym for Energizing Health, Education, Agriculture, Rural Communities, and Transportation via e-mobility. Now, this is a partnership with the subnationals, that's the state and the RESCOs, which the MD talked about earlier. So they are going to be partnering in executing this program. And the components for this program consist of, the first one is the primary healthcare centers where uninterrupted electricity will be provided for 3,700 primary healthcare centers across the country. They will be powered with medical equipment, vaccine, refrigeration, and emergency services. Boreholes and street lights will also be provided in the primary healthcare centers. The education will be receiving reliable electricity in the rural schools, that's the primary and secondary schools only. We're also going to be providing digital tools and e-learning for those schools. Then under the agriculture, we have agro-energy where solar-powered cold storage will be provided and solar-powered water pumps will be provided in the communities. Now in this sector, the components that will be provided will depend on the needs of the community. So we are not restricted to only solar power, cold storage, and solar-powered water pumps. What the community needs within our profile or within our profile, we will provide for them. Now the community power, we're talking about mini-grid for households and medium, small, micro enterprises. Transportation, we're looking at transportation via e-mobility, where solar-powered electric bikes and charging stations will be provided. Like my MD said, he went to Maiduguri and is impressed. He's already functioning there. What we want to do is to come and add more, how can I put it, more charging stations in Maiduguri and Borno at large. So in the EHAD program, the opportunities for Borno State is that in the first phase of the program, we are going to be electrifying 25 communities, giving them access to 2.5 megawatts of electricity, also going to be, which will improve security, which will also create jobs. It will also increase the internal generated revenue and unlock economic potentials, catalyzing rural economies and the entire ecosystem. Please, next slide. Now, in the business model, we'll be looking at the roles of each stakeholder. The REA will be the lead project coordination, planning, and execution. It will develop legal frameworks and project management guidelines. It will also create a one-stop shop to coordinate all permits and approvals. The states, that's the subnationals, will be the ones to provide land and site provisions with complementary infrastructures. They will be the ones to do renovation and retrofitting of the primary healthcare centers. They will also be the ones to do local logistics and community engagement, sensitization, and they will also provide security. While the RESCOs will participate through competitive procurement process to deploy energy solutions. They will partner with local businesses for logistics. They will develop efficient supply chains to ensure timely delivery of equipment. And the last but not the least, they will promote productive use of equipment in those communities. Now, next slide. In the financial model, we'll be looking at the contributions from each of our stakeholders. REA will be providing 60% of the funding for the project. The subnationals, which is the states, will be providing 30%, while the RESCOs will be providing 10%. This is what we intend to do. And I would like to announce to everybody in the House that, Your Excellency, thank you for the prompt response you give to us. We actually sent out a request to your state, and I'm here to announce that Borno State has already inaugurated their state steering committees. They've provided us with all their PAC sites that are functional and need electrification. And lastly, thank you, Excellency. And lastly, they've also given us a letter of their readiness to provide their counterpart funding for this project. Please, let's clap for Your Excellency. Next slide, please. So this is what the EHAD targets to do. We are targeting 3,700 mini-grids to be deployed. We are looking at renewable energy generation capacity of 370 megawatts. We want to impact on 3,700 communities. Direct impact on Nigerians will be 7.4 million plus, and the indirect impact on Nigerians will be 43 million plus. The carbon reduction will be 1,502,576.69. That is what we want and we aim to do in the EHAD program. What each community will benefit, please, next slide. Each community will benefit from the health sector, a better healthcare delivery, vaccine refrigeration, borehole and street lights. In the education sector, they will be provided with lights in the classrooms and also digital learning tools. Permit me, sir, MD, the last workshop we had, the digital learning tools experts came to actually show us what the tools can do. And I tell you, Your Excellency, our children will go far. In fact, I want to go back to school so that I will learn how to use those things too. Thank you very much. In the agricultural sector, we have the solar water pumps for irrigation, the cold storage facilities. The rural communities, we're talking about electrification of households and the SMEs. While transportation, we'll be talking about e-mobility for better transportation, equipped with EV stations, battery swap kiosks. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, I want to thank you for this privilege and opportunity. I'm also a made man, though my MD said he's the only one from Borno State, but I spent 6 years there, so I can't say I'm from Borno since my MD is from there already. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sunday Obaby, for the clear representation of the Executive Director of Rural Electrification Fund. I think you also made your presentation quite short, just as the ED usually makes hers. Thanks, thanks so much. Your Excellency, sir, I will quickly want to take the next presentation. I'll be inviting Engineer Umar Abdullahi Umar, the Executive Director of Technical Services, REA, for his presentation.
You have this slide anyway. Your Excellency, the Governor of Executive Governor of Borno State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, members of the Borno State Executive Council here present, my elder brother, MD REA, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stand on the existing protocol. Your Excellency, I have a very short, usually the shortest presentation, and I'll try to keep that record today as well. But just to put some facts, Your Excellency, before going over the presentation, I think the first ever site visit we did as a new management of REA was to the site at the University of Maiduguri. And I think in addition to that, Maiduguri State, Borno State is the only state that I think we've visited about 4 to 5 times. I think maybe the MD once or twice more than myself. So I think just for the sake of that, Your Excellency, I think I'm entitled to be definitely from Borno State. And Your Excellency, don't mind the other EDs. One of them might look flyer than me, or he has more money than me, but he has only been to Borno only once or twice, so why should he? And the other one, I think he has only been there once, Your Excellency. So automatically, after MD, next. So Your Excellency, also to commend you and commend the government. One of such engagements we had of lately was when we attended the conference on the Council on Power, NACOPS, National Council on Power. And Your Excellency, the state government, the governor gave a very good presentation whereby he showcased a lot of your achievements, especially in areas of grid extension. And for us at REA, we're very, very happy with that because it's part of what we do. Even the MD's presentation, you saw some slides. His first slide was on grid extension project that was delivered in Borno. So Your Excellency, just to go over what REA has done over the years regarding grid extension, for instance, from the year 2020 to 2024, just 2024 we're implementing right now, we've deployed about 596 distribution transformers nationwide, about 307 kilometers. We've extended the grid by that amount. Sometime in 2020, we extended the grid by 520 kilometers. So, Your Excellency, all these statistics is to show you the thousands of kilometers that our REA has done grid extension projects on. And to also give you more context on this grid extension, you, as a state government, has done a lot on that, of course, as well. Based on the distribution code and the grid code, Your Excellency, we have what we call span. That's the distance between these high tension and low tension poles that you see. And for the high tension poles, what you have as a standard is about 60 to 70 meters. What you have for the low tension poles is about 45 meters. So if you quantify it, Your Excellency, for every 1 kilometer or 1,000 meters of grid extension, you must have at least 22 poles. So when we say in context the REA has deployed about 520 kilometers of grid extension in a year, Your Excellency, you are talking about 12,000 poles were deployed just within a single year, and this is just a statistic of a single year. So, Your Excellency, you can quantify this to the amount of work we do over the last 4 years. Thousands of poles all over the country, in addition to insulators, cross arms, all sorts of accessories, Your Excellency. So we are doing a lot in that aspect as well, and we are also commending you for also your efforts as well. Your Excellency, I will begin my slides quickly. I think I can be done in 2 or 3 minutes. Next slide. Your Excellency, presently we're implementing about 2 programs at the capital, 2 key programs, the National Public Sector Solarization Initiative and also the Renewed Hope Development Fund. Under this, Your Excellency, you will be you'll be able to really understand what we are doing because you have seen the work we've done at the University of Maiduguri. You've seen the scope of the work, from the construction of the power plant to the distribution, the scaling and the metering. We are doing the same thing, Your Excellency, in different institutions under these 2 different programs. And I think part of the institutions we'll be solarizing is also the Federal Polytechnic Mungunu. Is part of them. And there was a time we even hosted the chairman of Federal Polytechnics at the MD's office. And I think the chairman of the Federal Polytechnic Mungunu was very articulate about the potential of Mungunu, the kind of activities, fishing, a lot of things he said. That's part of the reason why we ensured that during this program we made sure Federal Polytechnic Mungunu was a beneficiary under this program. And Your Excellency, this is another reason why I think me and MD automatically, we definitely have to be given that status of internship of Borno State. So Your Excellency, we are also doing the same, similar scope under the Renewed Hope program, whereby we are solarizing about 8 universities. University of Nigeria, Nsukka, University of Lagos, University of Benin, Ahmadu Bello University, and 3 or 4 other universities. Next slide. Your Excellency, these are just pictures of some of our interventions across the years. Next slide, in Borno State. Your Excellency, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we have standards for all the technology that is deployed. Standard for span of poles, height of poles, standards for even renewable. These technical standards did not include this portion before, but we just updated that this year. So we've added a lot of renewable technology. You can see we have what we call interconnection standards. Your Excellency, this is very important. This is the reason why most likely you've not had any issue of electrocution or electrocuting personnel on staff at the University of Maiduguri. Because you can imagine if there's a fault whereby you think there is no power in a line, and that is not the case. You know the consequences of that, what will happen at high voltages. So we have is a very important standard that we added for anti-islanding, syncing of voltage frequency. Also we have for generation systems. Since like in University of Maiduguri, we have about 12 megawatts, Your Excellency. So we have standards for the type of PV panels that are deployed, even in areas that are more cloudy and not as sunny as Maiduguri. Without wasting much time, same standards for storage, for EVs. Like the ND said, you are well ahead of us, or a step ahead of us, but Your Excellency, we are catching up on that as well. So in our standards, we've also added standards on EV charging, which is mainly direct charging, and for EV swap, battery swap technology as well. Same for smart systems and security. Next slide. Your Excellency, I think these slides are self-explanatory. We all know that Borno as a state has very high irradiation rate. You can see the statistic. There's some potential for wind, and there's also some potentials for small hydro. Next slide. Your Excellency, you also have a lot of minerals in the state. So most of these minerals are what are used to produce most of the components from PV panels to batteries. So these are the reserves that you have. We are sure the state government is doing a lot. MD spoke about one of our developers who is also a manufacturer about potentially coming to station his PV panel manufacturing plant in Borno. So these are statistics that will be interesting to him as well, and what the state owns as well. Next slide. Your Excellency, and we're always open to joint project development. Presently, we are doing a joint project with Gombe State, with a small hydro. We are also almost doing a project with Plateau State, something on wind as well. So, Your Excellency, we are open to also exploiting other technologies. With this, I think, I promise this will be the shortest presentation. We come to the end of my short presentation. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much for that, Engineer Umar. Engineer Umar, just as you've highlighted the natural resource deposits, if you look by your left or right, you see this roll-up banner also concisely details, some of these resources as well as their locations. So Borno State is definitely a place to catalyze opportunities in local manufacturing, using these deposits. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, sir, I'll quickly be inviting Olufemi Akinyelure, the head Nigerian Electrification Program, for his presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the Governor of Borno State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor. MD, let me stand, please, on existing protocol. Your Excellency, before I start, I think when I woke up this morning, I thought to wear traditional, the barbariga and everything. I didn't know we were going to be competing for this indigenship. So I may look alien to you, sir, but I'm your son too. So, sir, under the Nigeria Electrification Program, the MD has mentioned the plethora of projects and programs that the REA is implementing. Next slide, please. And under the Nigeria Electrification Program, which is funded by the World Bank and the Africa Development Bank, we have a portfolio which the MD has mentioned that implements solar hybrid mini-grids, university installations, interconnected mini-grids in universities and teaching hospitals. We also have what we call the productive use of energy, which targets agriculture in terms of solar irrigation pumps, cooling equipment for food security, and also e-mobility. And over the years, next slide, please. Go to the next slide, please. Over the years, we've been able to deploy over 200 of these hybrid mini-grids. We've also deployed 150 kilowatt systems in 100 hospitals across the country, a few of those that are in Borno State. And we're looking to expand on this in the coming program as well, which we are already doing, and a portfolio of which the MD had shown earlier on. Next slide, please. What I would just like to go through is a bit of how we do what we do at the Nigeria Electrification Program. As the MD has said, we are looking to tilt away towards just the EPC, towards more sustainable programs. As we know, power needs to be paid for, needs to be sustained to yield the required impact. So one of the key things that we do, obviously, is to first ensure that we identify this demand through all the tools that we have. We also ensure that we support our developers through project development to ensure that they get the necessary information required. We also then offer subsidies at the end of the day to ensure that first there's affordability. So the communities where we are going to, we are aware that they are not able to afford these cost-reflective tariffs. So the interventions that we provide would be able to ensure that it's affordable for them, and for the developers also, they are able to deploy sustainably. And we continue to look to more sustainable systems, more sustainable technologies, and more sustainable models to ensure that we can achieve our goals. Next slide, please. At the core of this system is what we call the ensure that there's that high level of quality everywhere that we deploy these systems. And just as the EDTS has said, REA maintains a high level of equipment quality. We have our booklets that we use to ensure that this is deployed in that right way. Sorry, next few slides, please. So just to give you an idea of how this works, next slide. I'll pick an example of the previous slide, the isolated mini-grids. From when we apply to when approvals are given, Once we sign what we call the grant agreement, Your Excellency, then the private sector is able to go out to the finance sector to raise the required financing based off of that grant agreement. So based off of the few years and the confidence that we have also built in the finance sector, that grant agreement is almost like collateral now. So a lot of finance institutions are willing to take that grant agreement, provide the financing to the private sector for them to go ahead and deploy. And this shows you the trajectory all the way to how the consumers get this power. This model is largely how we implement a lot of all the sub-components that we deploy. There's just a few differences depending on the type of project that it is. Next few slides, please. I'm going to try and make up for the time, just like my brother, the EDTS. To explain to you, next slide, please, the scale at which we are discussing, Your Excellency. Under the first World Bank program that I spoke about, we were able to inject about 100 megawatts into our system. But our ambition right now is about 5 times that, and even from the portfolio that we already see, we are already doubling that ambition. And I think, you know, normally when you are looking for funds, the financiers will tell you that you have viable pipeline of projects. I think we've been able to put together a healthy pipeline of projects that will be able to take up whatever amount of money that we get. Next slide, please. So in designing the new project, I will just focus just on one part of this, which is productive use of energy, Your Excellency. So wherever we deploy these projects, we want to ensure that we stimulate some kind of demand, just like the ED Reps representative has mentioned, whether we are deploying solar irrigation pumps in communities like Biu, or we are in the fishing communities deploying cooling systems so that at least they can store this food produce so that there's, you know, you don't experience any losses as you go along. And I think the last mile is also encouraging, just like you are doing, Your Excellency, the e-mobility. This would help to reduce food prices also. We understand the issues around transportation poverty, so we ensure that the pain points of the last mile in our community are being identified. And just ironically, speaking about Borno and speaking about the security and all of that, we see that power is one way that you can unify and bring peace when you provide a way of living for people and keep them, I mean, not keep them idle, but give them something that they can do to make a living for themselves. I think that's very important to say. And in that regard, Your Excellency, the next slide I will pick on the state collaboration and state interventions that we have under the DARE. So based off of the Electricity Act that the MD spoke about, states now have more powers over the electricity market, and we see that as an opportunity to collaborate. And so therefore, we have created the subcomponents to ensure that states are able to meet some minimum level of criteria to show competence. And once that is done, the criteria is public, and I'm sure myself and the commissioner have been having those conversations. Once the state meets those criteria and are able to carry out studies, we are able to then come in to intervene in more public institutions, healthcare centers within the state. And this is one critical part of the DARE program that we are trying to propagate within the states. Next slide, please. Next slide. And the one after, please. So I'll just focus now on the barriers to collaboration with the states, and I'll just speak on a few things. Your Excellency, one key aspect is access to land and how easy it is for developers to come in and access that land that is required for them to implement these projects. As the MD said, we have developers who are ready to go across the entire country, not looking at religion or ethnicity or anything. At the end of the day, prosperity doesn't know religion or ethnicity. So that's one key thing that we have here. The other aspect is, now that states have their own electricity markets, how easy it is. I mean, we talk about ease of doing business. So your new regulations, how are you aligning that with what we had before? If we have states all of a sudden coming up with new fees which would hinder progress of the developers, we feel as if this might begin to erode a lot of the momentum that we had already made. So this is one area we need to pay attention to. One key aspect I like to also always emphasize is around community sensitization. The states are the closest to the people, so we always need to, and we always require that hand-holding to ensure that, you know, they take ownership of these systems, so that there's, I mean, in terms of theft, in terms of payments and all of that, there's that sense of ownership to ensure the sustainability of the systems. Next slide, please. I will just speak about a few of the projects. I think one thing to mention is I think the installation at the University of Maiduguri is the largest installation we have currently in the country. And I think that 12 megawatt plant is also not going to be serving the university facilities, but we are planning to serve, I think, the water treatment plants and some other surrounding installations. And I know we've already discussed around having charge stations within that installation. We have two other installations of note, which are the 50 kilowatts installations in the hospitals in the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital and the 7th Division Hospital in my Malady. Your Excellency, you have to forgive me. You have to forgive me for that. So the next slide speaks to just visual pictures of the university as it is today. It is a beauty to behold, and we hope that we are able to implement more of this to the benefits of the people of Borno State. Thank you very much for listening, Your Excellency, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Olufemi Akinyelure, the head NEP. Your indigenship is hereby cancelled. Your Excellency, sir, it's obvious that to sustain this scale-up phase, this renewable energy scale-up phase, there's a need for a strong talent pipeline, you know, across the 36 states of the Federation, especially with young people acquiring the requisite skills on renewable energy management and energy access generally. Well, another key component that we must continue to commend the state governments on is the buy-in of the respective states. You'd agree with me, sir, that we can deploy this infrastructure, but when they are not well maintained and managed and sustained, it doesn't really serve the purpose for which it's meant. Which is why we'll be taking a presentation specifically on sustainability, as well as youth capacity in the clean energy ecosystem next. I'll be inviting the Executive Director, Corporate Services at the REA, Ayuade Boyega, for that presentation.
There you go. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Borno State, representing the Governor of Borno State. Good afternoon, my MD. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. I'm going to be standing on the already established protocol, but not all the established protocol, if you would permit me. The one I refuse to stand on is the one where previous speakers that has come to this podium have made false claim of being associated with Borno State. In my own case, I don't have to be a Borno indigene just by association. My maternal grandfather that gave birth to my grandmother happens to come from Borno State. So you see, the difference is clear. I'm not like the MD, neither am I like Femi or the ED that came to speak earlier. Mine is quite different, and I don't need to wait for the indigenship to come to me. It's in my DNA, MD. You can't beat that. Thank you, Your Excellency. I think today is not a day for long presentations and words and all of that. The MD have spoken a lot. He has set the tone. The ED has come here to show you the project that we have done. Femi has also come here to show you what we are doing with the NEP and the rest of them. I think the most important part of all of this is the sustainability aspect. There is nothing we are doing in this country today as Nigeria that has never been done before. But we also always have one issue that is the bane of our problem, which is the issue of sustainability. Some people will call it lack of maintenance culture. But at REA, when we plan a project, from inception, we think of how we can build sustainability into this project. That is why we have created something called the REUs for all our renewable energy projects that we are building. The REUs translates to Renewable Energy Users Cooperative Society. As like any other cooperative society that we know, you have a group of people that come together for a particular purpose, either to safeguard a particular infrastructure or to contribute money to build something within their own community. That is the same model that we have adopted at REA. Knowing that we are deploying infrastructures across the entire country, we sat down and we said, no, we must put together something that would bring the community into this project that we're doing. Hand over this project back to the communities and ensure that they are able to manage and protect it, and also to collect for it and to ensure that the O&M of that infrastructure is guaranteed. That is, operation and maintenance of that infrastructure is guaranteed. That is why we have put this together. I'll quickly speak to a few slides. So what does the REUs guarantee you? The REUs will guarantee technical sustainability, financial sustainability, the social sustainability, which includes the inclusion of the people in the community, and the environmental sustainability. Can you move to the new slide? Next slide. The diagram of the REUs. It shows you ownership and accountability. That means the people at this community where this infrastructure is implemented then assumes ownership of that particular infrastructure. They guide it with their own. I always use one example, but I'm not going to use it today because I think it's a bit too much for the MD to take sometimes. When we get back after the presentation, he calls me and say, hey, stop calling my name. But at the end of the day, he's not the only Abba here. I have a few Abbas in this room. And I'll go back to that example anyways. You know, when one of the problems that we face in this country is that when you have a power infrastructure is that of theft, power theft, and vandalization. But you know, when you hand over this infrastructure back to the community, they know their words and they know the wayward ones among their words. So they will quickly say, Abba, please don't go to that infrastructure, it belongs to us. You understand? So, yeah, but it doesn't like me using that excuse, but here we go. So it also gives us that maintenance and system longevity. When they protect the infrastructure, when they have money to change the batteries, when the batteries go down and all of that, the system tends to serve the time that it's meant to serve. Social inclusion and equity. People who feel involved in the project, both men and women alike, are participators in the project and how it is managed. Revenue connection and financial management. The people of the community collect the tariffs, they put it together. When it's time to do an they know what to do with that money that is being collected. Community engagement and awareness, local economic empowerment, that cannot be overstressed, because we all know that anywhere you have power, you are definitely improving the economic activities in those communities, and that speaks to that. Next. Still in the same vein, enhanced system reliability, financial resilience, cultural fit and local adaptation, so scalability and replicability. Anywhere where we have already built infrastructure in Borno State or anywhere in Maiduguri, we at REA are ready to work with you to scale or to replicate the REUs, and it's very easy to replicate. Put people in the community together, give them the framework, tell them how to use it, and then they are ready to go. So that is very easy to adopt. As we move into Maiduguri and build more of these infrastructures, REA is ready to work with you in adopting this REUs framework across the state. Next. Okay, we're speaking about sustainability, and then this brings me to looking at some facts about Borno State. The current unemployment rate in Borno State stands at about 7.3%, but the youth unemployment in Borno State stands about 70%. And obviously, there are contributing factors to this unemployment. One of them is the influx of IDPs into Borno State. But sometimes you have to turn a disadvantage to an advantage, and this is the opportunity for us here. The MD has spoken about someone here having about 170 billion naira. Femi came up here with his suit and very nice tie. We know he's already spending from the $750 million that he has. You know, if you put this together cumulatively, we are talking about an investment of over $2 billion in the renewable energy space. It is no brainer to start to say that it is time for us to start to invest in capacity building and building pipeline of renewable energy recruits across the country. For us at the REA, recently we did a Next Gen Resco where we trained about 130 students in how to work in the renewable energy space. Also for all the universities that we're building, we're doing about 100, we're training about 100 students. Apart from the 20 STEM students that we train, we did the first in the University of Maiduguri. We came there, I think the EDTS alluded to that, and they said that was the first time I came to Maiduguri. I've been going to Maiduguri since before I was born, through my DNA. Through my DNA, just to get that. But you see, this is an opportunity for us to leverage all the investment that we're putting into renewable energy to build the capacity to ensure sustainability across board. We won't want a situation whereby in the nearest future we will build solar home systems to be deployed in Maiduguri, but the builder of this solar home system has his office in Lagos, and before he can, if anything happens to any of the solar system, he would have to bring his staff from Lagos to Maiduguri. We can do without that. We can start to develop this pipeline of renewable energy skilled, savvy youths in the state. Now that we have the youths that are unemployed, this is an opportunity for us to put them in that space, create a big training center, partner with REA and partner with a few other guys. The guy that we partnered with on the University of Maiduguri is not here today. Can't remember his name. What's his name again? He's here. If you're here, you and the other guy, where is he? He's not here. So we partner with him to train about 100 students in Maiduguri. We can replicate this. The students are there. The government needs to start looking at opportunities like this to leverage on, since we're now pumping a lot of money into it. And the off-takers are in this room. We have a lot of rescuers in this room that are ready to off-take these students once they are well-trained and they become employable and they have the requisite skills to work in the renewable energy sector. So I think as we try to bridge the energy access gap, we must also try to use that opportunity to create gainful employment.
That was why you weren't part of the MOU, where we plan to optimize the workshop and training centers across the country. You know, I don't know if Prem Plus is in the room, but I'm sure he would further brief you on the objectives of that particular MOU. Your Excellency, sir, quickly we will be taking a look at the energy access map in Borno State. I'll be calling on Jibril Mohammed to give us the data spotlight for the state.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. Good afternoon, MD. Please permit me to also adopt the already established protocols of the day. I think one thing has remained very, very clear today from the MD's presentation, when we have seen a lot of data points from the communities in Borno, the local governments with the highest number of off-grid communities, to the way MD, my boss, was struggling to mention some names. I am from Gombe, so I'm familiar with all the names from Kwaya to Biu to Damboa to Maiduguri. And hopefully I won't also murder some of them. Your Excellency, behind you, MD has also stated that we have so many stakeholders here. 3 sets of stakeholders stand out. REA here, representing the federal government, is out to make sure there is impact. We wanted to understand what the problem is, where all the communities are what we need to block or fill that electricity access gap. But we also have the private sector, the MD put on the spot earlier. They are also investors. They want to make money, but they also want to drive national development. And then there's the Borno state, whom I'm sure is also out to ensure a lot of this development happens within the state. The only way all of this makes sense is when we put all of the three together. REA providing the grants, the private sector coming in with their own equity and making this investment, and Borno State providing that enabling environment. I think that summarizes the entirety of what we're doing today. But how do we understand the problem? MD mentioned mapping the entire country and understanding where each community stands, where they are, how many people are there, how many homes are there, how much connections we can establish. And if you look on the screen, Your Excellency, I know it's a bit blurry from where you are, but on the right side is a map of Nigeria with lots of dots of blue and pink and red, showing all the communities that we have in Nigeria, from Lagos, that has the highest number of buildings, to the most smallest community in Nigeria. We have about 154,000 that have been mapped, including the grid-connected and the off-grid communities. We put all of this together to understand the relationship and the dynamics of all the communities that we have. Lagos at the top, you would see Ibadan somewhere, you would see Abuja somewhere. What we try to do is see where each community stays. And for us, we can look at a community and see 1,733 million, 1,700,000 or so, and translate that to the number of people that will be impacted with electricity. For a private sector developer, he would look at that and see, beyond just empowering people, there's a certain amount of grant I could get from REA, and it would be translated from this number of connections. And I'll just take a stab and go into Borno so we can see where Borno stands in all of this. This tool, Your Excellency, is called VIDA, and it is developed for the REA through a stakeholder as well. And what was used to come up with this data is a layer of secondary data, from distribution lines to transmission lines to Google Map to satellite mapping to night light coverages and so on. And that came up with a profile of the entire country. Some of this may show some inaccuracies, and that's because we're updating this on a day-to-day. If this was done last year and it shows off-grid communities as at last year, I'm sure the government of Borno might have done something within there, and it takes us a while to update this information. So you might see a community that may be showing off-grid here, but has been electrified, and we try as much as we could to update this information. Borno has about 4,736 out of the 154,000. Maiduguri at the top has 468,000 households, that's buildings. And the reason why, and you would see that the entirety of Borno is now highlighted without the rest of the country, meaning we're spotlighting Borno. We can then say how many communities are within Borno that are either without electricity completely, or are deserving of maybe an interconnected mini-grid or some intervention. And when we put that filter of saying, okay, take these communities that are 3 kilometers, just 3 kilometers away from the national grid, it reduces this number from 4,000 to about 3,000, meaning there are communities that may have distribution lines, but are inactive. So we could say that there's no power within the communities. We can also say show light at night. So when the satellite is capturing these communities in the night, which communities are dark, meaning there's no light within these communities. I'm sorry, this is a bit technical, Your Excellency, but MD told me that His Excellency would come with a really buoyant technical team, and we need to be very granular in explaining how we get this data. So just pardon me for a few minutes. This also reduces this to about 3,700, and you would see the communities. Maiduguri has been taken out now because it's a community that we know has supply of power, but we have Gajigana, we have Goaram, we have other communities. Goza, even Goza is shown to have inadequate supply of electricity as well. I would try and just go to, MD has started showing BU already, but I'll also go there and just showcase some of the communities close to BU. When you filter that, it would show you that BU has 166 communities that are probably off the grid or requiring intervention. So this community here that I'm picking is, I think it says Garabula. Yeah, Garabula. I hope I'm right, Your Excellency. I'm doing even worse than the MD. Garabula, okay. And then just beside is there's Zua, I think. You can see the shaded area, and that's showing the entire map of that community. And when you zoom in, you would see the purple dots and the purple squares. You can zoom it even more, and they show houses. They show rooftops of all the houses. There are pitch areas like this one here. They're just small houses that may have just about 5 or 6 people living there. And with that, we know how much the consumption of that house is. We know the purple houses are a bit bigger than the pitch houses. We know the green houses are large households. We know the blue houses are medium households. And with that, we can say that in this community today, if you put up a mini grid, you can establish 1,055 connections. And for each of these, when you go on top to the red parts there, there's a bit blurry. It says $500. And that's the, I think that's about the amount that each connection will fetch for the private sector developer. When MD says we're going to fund this is how we fund it. We tell them to go and do their exercises, their stakeholder engagement, but when they come back, this is how we measure their performance, by looking at how many connections they have established and how many people they are impacting, and that's how we give the grant. But we also see beyond that. You would see school, you see a hospital. I think there's a dispensary here. We have a central primary school in that community, and that's what we call anchor loads, where the consumption there would be more than what you consume in a household. The head of NEP also spoke about productive use, and we consider this some of these facilities as places that would make mini-grid more sustainable. Your Excellency, we also have some other information, and this is for each and every community. We would know that there is no 0 kilometer from the main road, meaning that there is a main road that goes directly into that community. And if you zoom in, you would see that at the middle, there is a main road that shows accessibility. We also have, I think, Miringa as the nearest regional hub, and it's about 14.2 kilometers for business decisions, agriculture, and so on. This software is also able to calculate how much energy is needed based on the number of people and households, and we can see about potential PV production of about 1.7 megawatts that would be generated there. We have so much, and I don't want to go into each detail, but the PV size for this, when you when the calculation is done and everything has been put in place, we're looking at 88 kilowatt peak system that would provide this, and a genset of about the same size, and a battery size of about 353 kilowatt hour. Your Excellency, we're also able to capture security, and that's also something of great importance, and see for the past 2-3 years how many conflicts or insecurity events had happened within the area, to just give us some sense of the need that the government needs to put in place for the developers to feel comfortable. We also have agricultural indicators for businesses that may come up after electricity has been put in place. We have millet, maize, sorghum, cowpea, and groundnut as the major dominant crops within the area, and the crop yield and everything. So, Your Excellency, this is just to showcase that for each and every community that we have in Borno, we can go into this detail to understand what the need is, how can business be sustained, what are we going to spend to electrify the community, who the stakeholders are within these communities, and so on. And I hope that this would provide some confidence for not just the state, but the private sector players here to know that there is ample communities within the state that could translate into viable businesses for them. Thank you, Excellency, and have a beautiful rest of the day.
Thank you, Mohammed Jibril, for that presentation. Your Excellency, sir, with your permission, sir, I'll be inviting the Honorable Commissioner for the Honorable Commissioner of Borno State Ministry of Transport and Energy, Honorable Aliyu Mohammed Lawan Buba, for his presentation, sir.
Your Excellency, Professor Babagana Omar Zulum, the Executive Governor of Borno State, ably represented by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Borno State, Dr. Umar Usman Kadafur. Excellency, if you permit me to align with the well-established protocol. Just to also clear doubt for those trying to claim, indigenship of our state. Femi, you are the money man, and the closer you get to that, closer 750 you are. But just to put some assurance to Femi, land is not a limiting factor in Borno State, and of course our laws with the energy law that we have, we should be completed by the end of the year. We tend to align, with already what is on ground, so as not to disrupt, far too out what is already established, and we can have something that can be seamless and work as quickly as it should. Your Excellency, let me use this opportunity to also thank the MD of REA, my brother Abaliu, and his team. They have opened their doors and they've welcomed us into their community. Your Excellency, they have recognized our local rescues. You would agree with me, Your Excellency, that we built Borno State in the last 6 years with these gentlemen. They understand our communities. They've established the solar systems in our communities. All these numbers and figures we will call out when it comes to solar renewable energy. These gentlemen are fully and solely responsible. They're actually here with us. If you can please stand up and let them see them. And MD, thank you very much for giving them an opportunity to be part of your space. Just quickly moving on, just to rub in into MD's face much more. We have a presentation to air out to the viewers here, just to tell you what we've really done when it comes to EV and the EV mobility. Thank you. Mandate for Ministry of Transport and Energy on the transport side is to provide and enhance the mobility across the state and of course its environs. In the case of energy is to provide access to electricity both within and outside the environs of the entire state of Borno. Alhamdulillah, today His Excellency Professor Babagana Omar Zulum has transformed Borno State as it is. Aside from the various impact you feel as a government when you go to the entire regions in Borno State, You will also in Maiduguri, for example, you will see that we've grown from just simply being a transport solution provider to now a transportation sort of game changer. Borno State has recorded the #1 spot in introducing a commercial platform for electric vehicles in Nigeria. We launched ours in December 2023. Borno State generally as a community has accepted there is what you call the solar system. Now, if you now grow that competence or capacity from just solarizing your house, and that you can provide some sort of transportation that is driven by a solar system, people immediately sort of accepted it and bought into it. They were just simply waiting for the reality. How is it possible that solar will, in the value chain across board, provide or enhance mobility transportation in the state? And not just the region or the north, but the entire country. What I mean by this is we have evolved from the fossil fuel transportation that everybody knows to electric vehicle transportation, form of transportation in Borno State, and at all levels, from the tricycles to the saloon vehicles or taxis, and now the luxurious buses. Where it concerns a value chain like improving the economies of the state, farming, for example, during the farming season, His Excellency Professor Babagana Omar, Executive Governor of Borno State, has mandated the Ministry of Transport and Energy to provide free transportation for the farmers to and from their farmlands, including moving their proceeds. The sky is our limit as far as we are concerned. You know, we are growing our capacity today from 50 vehicles on the road to 150 by the end of the month. And then we have 20 electric buses. And for us, that is just the tip. His Excellency is his kind of person. He's hands-on, very energetic, and he leads by example. He has no comprehension of there's a timing restriction or a fatigue restriction. He sort of works just around the clock. And to sustain that, he is feeding that drive with young, energetic citizens, you know, to be able to improve on his service delivery and his mandate for the good people of Borno State. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, so today's engagement reflects a shared commitment of shaping a future where clean, reliable, and affordable energy drives economic growth and improves the quality and lives of our people. Guided by the leadership of our state, strategic decisions have been taken. We've created an enabling environment that is both investor-friendly and forward-looking. Notably, amongst others, is the recent commissioning of 125 kilowatts, of solar energy for our poultry production center. We've replicated such competence across various schools, hospitals, health centers, community centers, just to be able to encourage the renewable energy world or space to come into Borno State, and to convince you that indeed we are ready and open, for business. We've, as an administration, deliberately harnessed these opportunities to be able to give you the encouragement that you need and the reflection that you must have to come into our space. Indeed, recently the Borno State Investment Promotion Agency is currently exploring the potential of partnership where 5 reputable companies are trying to bring about the independent solar power plants of about 1,300 megawatts. And these are the kind of opportunities that we want to bring in, to bear. And of course, REA at the center of it all is the partnership we yearn for always in our state. As we deepen our efforts and the focus would include on utility scale solar power generation, agriculture, agro-processing, energy efficiency and innovation, training, production, workshop centers, value chain addition beyond Maiduguri metropolis to support our EV mobility revolution. Borno State today stands fully prepared to work hand in hand with investors, of course with the REA, for a shared vision for sustainable growth and innovation. To enforce this commitment, our administration has established the Ease of Doing Business Committee, and incidentally chaired by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Borno State, Dr. Umar Usman Kadafur. And of course, one of the mandate for that committee is to create a seamless, investor-friendly, profitable business environment, removing bottlenecks, bureaucracies, accelerating approvals, continuous support, and then partnership engagement at all times. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand here before you. Thank you and trust that your interest and your willingness to invest in Borno State is apt, and we as a government are here to support and encourage as you walk down the roads of Maiduguri or into Borno State. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. Ladies and gentlemen, can we keep the room as quiet as possible? Join me as we invite the Deputy Governor of Borno State, His Excellency Umar Kadafur, for his remarks.
Please sit down. Mr. MD, while we are trying to adopt your indigenship in Borno, I will even ask the Shehu to adopt with traditional title. And for those who might take title in southern part of the state, I will ask the Emir of View, especially the SA to the MD. Emir of View will give you a title, and fortunately enough, the Birma of View is among the midst of investors here. So please note, Mr. Birma Bundi, that the SA to the minister should be giving a title for not pronouncing well the name, so that next time he will do well. Thank you so much. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Rural Electrification Agency, my brother and a friend, Abba Aliu, Executive Directors from the REA, top management officers of REA, my sisters and brothers from REA too, the real sisters and brothers from Maiduguri, the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Transport and Energy, Alhaji Aliu, and also General Manager, Rural Electrification Board, Borno State. We have the Senior Technical Assistant to the Governor on Transport and Energy, directors from the Ministry of Transport, Borno State, partners, invited guests. I'm here representing my boss, the Executive Governor of Borno State. A governor that's name has become a household name in terms of good governance in the whole country. Engineer Professor Babagana Umara Zulum. I didn't consult him, but I've stamped the indigenship of those who have claimed since paternity, and those whom
I know especially the MD, who might have a different motive for that affiliation with Borno State. Anyway, I will not make it public now until when you wore the Babariga that was given to you by His Excellency on Salah Day. So really announce your intention and motives. It is with profound honor to address this distinguished gathering at the REA State roundtable engagement, while the team Powering Resilience and Sustainability for Socio-Economic Growth catalyze clean energy investment in the Borno State electricity market. This is not only timely, but act. Under this administration, Borno State has continued to deliver strategic, people-centered development anchored on a clear long-term vision, the 10-year strategic transformation agenda and the 25-year Borno State development plan, recognizing that energy is the engine room for progress. Our administration has made groundbreaking investment in renewable energy and clean transportation sector. These efforts are laying the foundation for inclusive growth, climate resilience, and sustainable economic advancement. Notable achievements undertaken by our administrations include industrial and strategic solar infrastructures. That's the construction of 5 megawatt solar power plant at the Borno Industrial Complex, which is designed to support industrial production, stimulate manufacturing, and strengthen the state economic competitiveness. Installation of 600 kilowatt solar power system, powering the newly constructed Yarwa electric vehicle mega charging hub, the first of its kind in the entire Northeast sub-region. Deployment of 250 kilowatt solar system at the Borno Express Terminus charging point, supporting the state growing sustainable transport network. Clean mobility transportation, that's the procurement of 150 electric taxis, 100 electric metro city buses, and 500 electric e-tricycles, a landmark of clean mobility initiative that is reducing carbon emissions, improving urban transport efficiency, and lowering energy costs for commuters. Renewable power public infrastructures, installation of hybrid solar streetlights across major highways, urban corridors, markets, and strategic locations to enhance security and stimulate nighttime commercial activities. Deployment of over 5 megawatts of solar powered and hybrid energy system for the electrification, rehabilitation of schools, hospital, community centers, and security facilities across the state. One of the most transformative achievements of our administration is the successful resettlement of internally displaced persons, with over 20 communities rebuilt and restored. These resettled towns are now being integrated into the state renewable energy framework through off-grid solar mini-grids, stand-alone home solar system, solar power water scheme, and establishment of solar-enabled agricultural and irrigation clusters powered by over 3.5 megawatts of integrated solar energy solutions. This approach ensures reliable electricity supply where national grid extension remains technically difficult or financially prohibitive. Enabling social stability, restoring livelihoods, and improving quality of life. Borno State possesses exceptional natural and economic advantages. Much solar radiation, with 13 to 15 hours of sunlight daily, an average radiation exceeding 6.2, Borno State stands as one of the most ideal locations for solar power generation in West Africa, and this guarantees high energy yields, minimal storage requirements, and predictable solar performance around the year. Growing market and energy demand, the state has vibrant commercial hubs, expanding residential districts, and increasing industrial activity, all of which are driving demands for reliable off-grid energy solutions. Investors will find ready markets with strong adoption and potentials. Agricultural expansion and solar irrigation. Revitalized rural communities are increasingly embracing solar-powered irrigation system with vast arable land and ongoing agricultural recovery. Renewable energy remains crucial to driving the value chain from production to processing and manufacturing. Ample land for large-scale projects, which was mentioned earlier by the Commissioner, that lands are not a problem. Borno's vast landmass ensures that land availability is not a constraint. This provides enabling conditions for utility-scale solar farms, renewable energy training centers, manufacturing and assembly facilities, battery and EV component workshops. To consolidate these gains, the Borno State government is finalizing a comprehensive energy law scheduled for completion in December 2025. And this landmark legislation will establish a clear regulatory framework for renewable energy investment, promote public-private partnership, which also, as mentioned earlier, as the chairman of Ease of Doing Business in the state, continue to support partnership with all interested parties in our state, and accelerate the adoption of clean and efficient energy solutions. It will also institutionalize the state collaboration with the Rural Electrification Agency and strengthen the role of the Project Implementation Unit in project delivery, monitoring, and transparency. In conclusion, Borno State stands at the threshold of a new energy future, one defined by sustainability, innovation, and opportunity, with its unmatched solar resources, stronger leadership, expanding markets, and enabling policies. The state is ready for accelerated renewable energy transformation. The Borno State government warmly invites the REA, private investors, development partners, and technology providers to join hands with us. Together, we can convert Borno's abundant sunlight into prosperity, powering our communities, industries, and a stable, secure, and sustainable future. Thank you. God bless you all.
Another round of applause for His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, please. Your Excellency, sir, thank you so much for that commitment speech. It's loud and clear that Borno State is ready for business. Before we go into the MOU signing, MD, do you have any suggestions? Should we go do the discussions before the MOU? Okay. Your Excellency, a very important thing about the rescues we have in the room, that we've continued to have in the room over time, is that they are color blind, culture blind, and they don't care about religious differences. They just want to, access these opportunities and deploy this infrastructure across the country. So we must continue to commend them because they've remained our foot soldiers across the nation. And we've had a full room on each and every one of these stakeholder engagements. So this particular section of the program is specifically for them. I know we've received a ton of requests, but Your Excellency, you permit us, we'll give them 1 minute each, especially for the RESCOs who are indigenous of the state, and who also have a portfolio of projects on the states. So let's have the requests come in. We'll take as many as we can before we go into the MOU signing proper. I know the state government already submitted a few names. Well, let me quickly recognize them. MTech Solar Solutions, Mufi Renewable Energy, Mustard Energy Solutions, Bravo and Yellow Energy. I think we have all of them in the room. But quickly, if in the order that I have it here, I currently have Phoenix Renewables, then MTech Solar, Mofi, Mustard, Bravo and Yellow, Trust Energy, News Engineering, Green Maple Energy, A Solar. So we have about 11 RESCOs here, but please let's keep to time, 1 minute each, just to give room for other RESCOs. Please, commitments. Most importantly, commitments to take on clean energy projects and investments in Borno State. Commitments, please. It's very important. But let's stick to the 60 seconds mark to give opportunity to all the RESCOs to speak. Thank you very much. Phoenix, you're up first. And then we have the rest. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's very emotional for me to be here because my state is here today, finally. After about 19 states, we're the 20th state. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, ably represented by our Deputy Governor, the MD of REA, my big brother. My name is Engineer Sadiq Abubakar Isa. I'm the chairman of Phoenix Renewables Group Limited. It is an honor to join this important roundtable. We are grateful to the government of Borno State and the Rural Electrification Agency for the continuous support and collaboration. At Phoenix Renewables Group, our work across Nigeria reflects our commitment to sustainable energy and mobility. In Borno State, we have delivered 500 electric tricycles, which was contracted by the Borno State government. We are working on deploying more EV charging stations to support the growing, to support this and strengthen the mobility and livelihood of the people of Borno State. As part of our commitment to the state, we also donated 50 kVA inverter solution to the state's specialist hospital, part of our courtesy visit with the MD of REA when we were in Maiduguri 2 weeks ago. Our DARES program through REA is to further deepen our engagement through community inclusion and capacity development. We stand ready to expand our partnership with Borno State and REA to deliver scalable, bankable, and impactful energy projects that will unlock investment and drive inclusive growth. And with the kind of energy in this room, it's renewable. Of course, I'm confident we'll be able to achieve that. As the MD said, if nothing happens in Maiduguri, he has me to blame. So I will urge all our RESCOs to come to Maiduguri. Maiduguri is ready for business. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Phoenix Energy. Well, you have a fine, though. We will send an invoice for your fine because you exceeded the 1 minute mark. MTech Solar Solutions, do you want to say a word out? Is MTech in the room? Okay, if not, Mufi Renewable Energy, Mustard Energy Solutions. Okay. I mean, you all are indigents of the state, and I'm aware that there are existing amazing clean energy projects already ongoing that you've been doing, just as His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, has mentioned earlier. We have Trust Energy. Trust Energy in the room. Okay, I just saw him now. Okay. News Engineering, Green Maple. Green Maple? Okay, let's have Green Maple. Green Maple, 60 seconds, please. Commitments only. Commitments only.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Your Excellency. Distinguished guests, esteemed stakeholders. My name is Yusuf Yahya Muhammad, and it's an honor to represent Green Maple Energy Solutions Limited. Back in 2021, I was privileged to serve in Maiduguri as an NYSC Club member, and during that time I served in Shehu Garbai Secondary School, and I see firsthand how lack of electricity hindered education progress. I found late innovative devices can unemployed and utilized, and that sparked my interest to start a community development service, which I was able to train teachers in over 10 schools with over 100 teachers. So one thing remained eminent: lack of electricity has been one of the major factors of unemployed of these devices. So today, as I represent Green Maple, I see this as a tremendous opportunity for us to provide this solution. We have standalone solutions. We are tailored mini-grid setups that could be able to empower these communities and schools that have these devices to make sure that these devices remain employed and utilized. So I urge stakeholders, the Borno State government, to look into my proposals so that we can be able to tailor support for Borno State government. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Green Maple. News Engineering, are you set? Is Trust Energy in the room now? Then let's have A Solar and IRS on standby, please.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, ably represented by his deputy. Good afternoon, the most sought after and most sought after MD of REA, my brother Abba Aliu, and then the EDs that is always trying to outsmart themselves as if there's competition among themselves. And good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name remains Lady Josephine Wednesday, the Managing Director of News Engineering Nigeria Limited. Well, I don't know how I can tell a story of 42 years in 1 minute. I'm only asking for extra 30 seconds. So News started from a very humble beginning by doing house wiring and went into rural electrification, and then started doing construction of substations. We actually constructed most of the substations across the country within the range of 132 and 330 kV. We did transmission line projects from Gombe to Damaturu over 2 decades ago, which is very close to Borno State. So coming to Borno would not be an issue. So we have done most of these projects, and then coming to the area of renewable energy, we have also carved the niche for ourselves. We did the first pilot mini-grid project, 60 kilowatts, done by funded by Ministry of Power. We did it in Turankawa, Sokoto State. And I'm not among the ones scouting to be an indigene of Borno State. On a lighter mode, I have one of our board members who is rightly sitting there in the name of Ibrahim, Sheikh Berima, who is the Berima of Biu Emirate. He is also the chairman of the Kingmakers in Borno State. He sits proudly in News Engineering Board. So I'm not asking to be an indigene. I think I'm already an indigene by my association with the Berima of the Kingdom. So we are just waiting for that call. Just one call will be there in Borno. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Engineering. I'm aware Mustat is now on standby. Also, Cloud Energy, be on standby. You have an amazing line of projects over there. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. Allow me to adapt to the existing protocol. My name is Engineer Amodu Mustafa. I'm the CEO of Muspat Energy Solutions, an indigenous company based in Maiduguri. Over the first decade, we have done so much work in areas of providing uninterrupted power to our hospitals, installing street lights. Virtually, we have converted all the street lights within the metropolis and its environs to the solar street lights. There's no single generator that is running to power a street light in Maiduguri and its environments. And again, in area of health sector, all our primary health centers, almost 80% has been powered by solar, typically by 10 kVA and 5 kVA, depending on the nature of the primary health center. And in the area of potable water supply, we have successfully converted all our motorized solar powered, motorized borehole into solar powered, and we are doing more. As we all know, we are coming out of the insurgency. Livelihoods has to be, maintained and sustained. As indigenous local contractors from Maiduguri, we are appealing to the REA to give us kind of a waiver to look at and meet up with the minimum technical standards, because we learned that even when we install 100 megawatts of solar power, we are still not giving out energy as the part of the minimum requirement requires to install 310 kVA to power households, meter it after confirmation, or a single 50 kilowatts, as the case may be. So we are appealing for the Rural Electrification Agency to consider us being the first timers collaborating with RES. Thank you, Your Excellencies.
Thank you so much, Mustat. Cloud Energy. IRS should be on standby, please.
Thank you to all the people in the House. Thank you to MD. I think we should take a cue from what the MD pointed out in the direction of how AI is consuming energy. So the world majors are now short of energy. Even those that have already solved energy problem are now crying of energy because AI has come. What is the mix? The mix is that energy is at the core of development. So if you are striving for development, energy must be a mix. And in our part, in our climb in Borno, insurgency is an indicator of energy crisis. Fix energy and you fix most of the problems. I'm not saying I know it all, but energy is at its root. It's not religion. When I went to Biu at our first mini-grid site, I was surprised. Half of Biu are Christian population, if not more than. In the MS Palace, there are part of the family that are Christians and part of them are Muslims. So it is only a distortion of history when people say Nigeria has a problem that is religious. What we have is an energy crisis. So if we fix energy, we fix it. So we are in Biu, we are in Biukuta, and we are now working in Ngurosoye after Bama. So who says that you can get there? Build the relationships and you get to wherever you want to go to. So it's not an Igbo man's culture, it should be a Nigerian people's culture. Let's build the relationships. So we are here to build relationship with the good people of Borno, and I noticed there's something going on. There are now indigenization of race codes. I am an indigenous Borno race code now. So please, Your Excellency, kindly adopt us. And we have seen the opportunity, and we should see how we should transform using theirs to get to more communities, solve the energy crisis, and solve the insurgency challenges. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cloud Energy. And that's why we are 100% certain that renewable energy will, power resilience in Borno State. So we totally agree with you. IRS?
Your Excellency, the Governor, ably represented by...
Powered by... Introducing the all-new IRS environmentally friendly electric tricycle powered by a 40-kilogram, 6-kilowatt lithium-ion battery with 6-year lifespan and enhanced by a 450-watt solar panel, thereby covering 150 kilometers from dawn to dusk. IRS electric tricycle features covered roof and sides, upholstered in soft, high-quality leather, spacious seating, well-designed modern dashboard, Bluetooth system, phone charger ports, fan, safe locker, smooth gear knob, hydraulic spring shock absorber, luggage space, high-quality steel body with perfect finishing.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, representing His Excellency, our Governor. My MD, good afternoon. Excellency, I was able to improve my vocabulary today. I have a suggestion, Your Excellency. Since everybody is trying to be an indigene, well, I was thinking maybe we should do an immigration office. So that we know who goes in there. But thank you very much. I was in Maiduguri last week. I'm very impressed with what I've seen. Clear, focused, visionary leadership that impacts on people's lives. I've seen the charging station. I've seen the water treatment plant. I've seen the solarization of healthcare and the schools. And this is what leadership is all about. And we will continue to encourage His Excellency to stay the course. We want to partner with Borno State because if you look at it, Borno State is one of the best states that has the solarization availability from the sun. I think annually we have 2,245 kilowatt square meter annually, of 6.5 daily for the state. And that is one of the most important things you require to do the solar industry. Right now in Kano, we are putting up a 600 megawatt solar panel assembly plant like the MD spoke earlier. We are doing another one in Akwa Ibom State. We already have a meter manufacturing and assembly line in Kano. And like you see, just now, like you saw, we are doing the electric tricycle. By the way, about 20 of them are already in Borno State at the University of Maiduguri. So I'm sure they will be deployed maybe next week. We are sending them to all the universities in the zones of Nigeria. I would like to come and sit with the Honorable Commissioner and discuss areas that we can partner with. And the one-stop shop the state is planning is going to be very encouraging and is a good incentive for investors to be able to do this very transparently. We are focused on what we are doing, and we are confident the leadership in the state is what will take us there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, IRS. A little fine for you, Chairman IRS, for overstaying your time, sir. A Solar on standby. Pedra Builds should be on standby. Off-grid electric should be on standby as well. A Solar? 1 minute, please. We are going into the MOU signing shortly. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, representing the Executive Governor of Borno State. I want to say congratulations for the great job that is going on in Borno State. The MD, REA, and management, congratulations for the things you are doing so far. My name is Dr. Momo Jimo Umar. I'm the Managing Director of A Solar Systems Nigeria Limited. I am representing Mr. Akim Shagaya, who is unavoidably absent. What do? We deploy solar home systems across the 36 states of the Federation. We have done it so well that as of today, we have deployed over 150 of such solar home systems. We are touching at least 1.5 million homes today. We've created direct and indirect jobs of about 25,000 as of today. For Borno State, we have deployed minimum 2,500 solar home systems, particularly in Biu, and we've created at least 600 direct and indirect jobs. What have we done afterwards? We have enumerated all the local governments in Borno State. We know the houses everywhere that need solar home systems. We have the solar home systems ready. All we are asking is to be given the opportunity, like yesterday, to begin to deploy more solar home systems. Doing that will create more jobs, reduce security resiveness, the youths are more empowered, and the great job that His Excellency is doing will continue to do. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you, A Solar. Pedra Builds? Okay.
Good morning, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am Muhammad Yahya, and I serve as the Chief Commercial Officer of Pedra Builds Limited. As Pedra Builds Limited, we are an energy company focused on high impact investments. So our focus is to deploy energy, to deploy renewable energy to high impact communities, whereby we see results. For example, we are piloting our projects in 5 major communities across Jeri communities, namely Shuari, Goniri, Gumsuri, and part of those communities are resettled communities that are being built by His Excellency, the Governor of Borno State. And we've identified that almost 1,200 households are out of electricity. So those are high impact targeted areas we are planning to deploy renewable energy to those communities. And our commitment as Pedra Build is to work closely with Borno State government and Rural Electrification Agency to ensure that these massive investments create jobs for young people, expand farmers' incomes, and support wider visions of rebuilding safe, productive, and dignified communities across the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pedra Builds. Your Excellency, sir, I would seek your advice on this. We are live on NTA, and we have just barely a few minutes. We want to have the MOU covered live before we go off air. Because NTA has insisted they won't give us JARA time. So we'll take the MOU signing, sir. Then we'll take a few more rest calls. Then we can close for the day, sir. If that's okay by you. All right. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Director Legal, REA. I think we can have the MOU signing quickly before we go off air. So quickly we'll be inviting to participate in the MOU signing His Excellency the Deputy Governor, the MD REA and the REA's executive team, the Honorable Commissioner, Transport and Energy, as well as the Permanent Secretary for Borno State or his representative. Your Excellency, sir, we are ready for you, sir. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Trust Energy, are you now in the room? You've been called severally. In 10 minutes, I want us to round up the stakeholder discussions so that His Excellency can have a productive day. Trust Energy, 1 minute, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Your Excellency. The MD, permit me to stand on existing protocol. Your Excellency, from the MD down to the entire line of the management, all of them claim to be from Borno or have some kind of affiliation with Borno. But Your Excellency, I didn't hear any one of them greeting you in your native language. So to tell them that I'm the true son of Borno, I will greet you in your native Bura language, Use. And I will also greet you in Kanuri, Kilewa Sule, Indawatu, Barakallah. Your Excellency, I'm actually, by extension, from Borno State. I'm an alumni of University of Maiduguri. So Maiduguri is my second home. I spent 6 good years, and my guardian was a Bura like you, Alaji Dauda Burma of blessed memory. So I lived both within the campus and off campus. So that makes me a true son of Borno State. I really appreciate the remarkable achievements being done in Borno State by your administration, especially in this space. And my good friend, the Honorable Commissioner, we started talking about this energy sometimes about this time last year. We even came up with a draft policy on the energy and a draft law for the energy. As well as being a transport specialist, we are also